Welcome to European Railway issue number 86, the DVD magazine for the continental enthusiast. In this programme, we visit the Czech Republic for some loco-hauled action to the south of Plzeň. We travel to Vienna to see passenger operations, including endangered Class 4020 units. Germany is our next port of call as we focus on diesel operations north of Chemnitz. French locomotive hauled trains feature in our study of traffic to the north of Orléans. A look at Dutch Class 1700 locos at work as we stop off at the border with Germany. It's Switzerland for our final feature, where we witness a busy line to the northwest of Zurich. The first part of our programme comes from the Czech Republic, as we study trains along the Provincial line linking Plzeň, in the west of the country, south towards the regional city of České Budějovice. We focus almost exclusively on the Class 242 electrics that work most of the trains along this route. Our map here shows the stretch of line covered. We begin in the north between Starý Plzeňec and the junction at Nezvěstica. Heading south towards the camera is one of the typical loco-hauled services that ply the line. The train is the 1508 departure from Plzeň to Nepomuk, headed by Plzeň-based 242-267. Starý Plzeňec was established as a settlement as long ago as the year 976, when it became an administrative and trading town in the then region of Western Bohemia. It was originally called Plzeň, a name it held until 1295, when King Wenceslas II founded the new city of Plzeň some 10 kilometres to the north. The new city eventually took over the function of the old town. One claim to fame is that the new city is known worldwide for its Pilsner beer, created there by Bavarian brewer Joseph Groll in 1842. 842029 is a diesel rail car which was this day employed on services between Plzeň and Kozolupi and return. This is 242-269. Heading south, and the next town on our travels is Staulavi, situated just 4 kilometres away. The train here is the 1603 from Plzeň to Havlíkov Brod and is non-stop through the station. Power is provided by locally based number 242-215. "13 minutes later, and it is the turn of 242-279 to head south, with the 1604 stopping service from Plzeň to Hrozdovice před Městy. The date is the 27th of June 2018. The station is just through the trees, it being a single platform affair. 242-267 is seen on its return working from Nepomuk. The Class 242 electrics work off the 25 kV overhead and are common on passenger workings in the western and southern halves of the country. The class were built in 2 batches, the first with locomotives 201 to 230 in 1975, and from 231 to 286 between 1979 and 1981. As mentioned before, this Class 842 unit is engaged on Kozolupi to Blovice local services, which operate to a 2-hourly frequency. Here it departs Nezvisice on the 1610 service from Kozolupi. The Class 842 date from 1988, when 2 prototype units were built by MSV Studenka. This was followed by a further production run of 35 units between 1993 and 1994. 8 of the units are allocated to Plzeň shed and generally work the line up to Most, as well as local services around this area. As can be seen, the majority of services are worked by Class 242 electrics. This is number 231. And here we have number 206. We now look at 2 locations to the south, beginning once again at Nezvisice and then onwards to Blovice. The date is the 28th of June 2018, and 842029 is still at it, working the local turn to and from Blovice. These units weigh 47 tonnes, and the class were re-equipped with a more powerful 242 kilowatt diesel engine between 2010 and 2013. The units are designed to pull up to tube-type 043, 050 or 053 trailer coaches. As mentioned before, the Class 242 were built between 1975 and 1981 as a mixed traffic loco, but when Czechoslovakia was split in 1993, all went to the Czech railways for use on passenger work. 242-269, one of 37 such locos allocated to Plzeň, is seen heading the 0828 from Horaz-Dorvice, Předměstí. On the right is a Class 810 unit, which will leave with a connecting train for the single line route up to Mieroszów. The line north of here is single track, so the previous train that we saw will have passed this southbound service at Stary Plzeňec. Rounding the curve is 242-208. The next major station to the south is the one here at Błowice, where we see 242-267 working the 1602 service from Plzeň. "86 of these machines were built, with 4 having been withdrawn and scrapped as a result of accident damage. General withdrawals commenced in 2013, but now many surplus locos have been sold to private operators. This is the view from the south as number 269 arrives with the 1828 from Horaz-Dorvice, Předměstí. At the time of our filming, electric multiple units had yet to appear on this route, with all services being loco-hauled apart from the Class 842 diesel unit operations. It can only be a few more years before scenes that we see here on our film will change forever, with more modern trains being introduced. Freight traffic is much lighter on this route than it once was. In the early evening, a pickup freight, number 62652, operates north to Plzeň. This brings a different loco to our screens in the shape of CD Cargo Class 240, number 014. "242-215 follows just 15 minutes later. Waiting in the station at that time was 242277 on the 1904 service from Plzeň to Nepomuk. The final section looks at the line to the south of Błowice and on towards Nepomuk, shown here on our maps. Nepomuk station lies a couple of kilometres to the east of the town and is situated on the junction of the non-electrified single-track route through to Plzeň. Departing the station at Błowice is the 1004 service from Plzeň, with number 267 in charge. Around 4 passenger trains operate on this line each hour, usually hauling 4 or 5 coach formations. Just 5 kilometres to the south, we are just in time to catch 242277 at this crossing in the village of Mate. The station at Nepomuk is our final focus, as 242279 in deep orange and cream livery is yet to be repainted in the new corporate white and multiple shades of blue colours. The line through here was officially opened in 1868 when it reached north from České Budějovice to Plzeň. Since then the line has seen modest upgrades to track and signalling, but stations and track layouts have remained unaltered for decades. It will only be a question of time before the route will see widespread modernisation, which has happened to a number of routes around Plzeň itself, with the main route through to Prague and Sieb being example. There are 2 hourly interval stopping trains from Plzeň that terminate here. One such working is seen here, arriving behind 242269. The appearance of so many Class 242 electrics may appear somewhat repetitive or uninspiring, but such workings represent classic railway operations still to be found in Central Europe, and they won't last forever. To the south of the station, the line from Plzeň joins the route, as we see single rail car 810411 arriving with a terminating service. Class 810 units are common on most lightly used rural lines in the Czech Republic. (242-213) departs the platforms at 12:31, with the 12:02 from Plzeň to Brno. This self-propelled work trolley is followed by MTV TV2 Departmental Motor Coach number 085, which is allocated here at Nepomuk. The railcar is part of an original fleet of 115. Finally, we have 242-267, arriving with the 1228 from Hrazdovice Predmezdy. If you're after the Plzeň-based Class 242s for site or haulage, you now know which line to come and visit. In this section we are off to Austria in the hunt for the endangered Class 4020 electric multiple units. The capital, Vienna, is the best place to see them, so we chose the station at Praterstern as our favourite location. Situated just east of the city centre, the elevated station is busy with regional and commuter trains throughout the day. The date is Sunday the 14th of July 2019. And the time is just after 7:45 in the morning. Arriving from Gunzersdorf are units 4020-264 and 274, still sporting their old blue and cream S-Bahn livery. Class 4746 Siemens D0 CityJet units began being delivered to the Austrian network from 2016, and many of the Class 4020s have been replaced by these new units. This is set number 064 on the 0736 from Vienna Meidling to Ganserndorf. Here 003 and 062 depart for Volkersdorf and are passed by 4020-221 and 318. Push-pull operated train sets are also commonplace here, with Class 1116 and 1144 providing the typical power. Here 1116-272 provides the shove at the rear, with the 0627 Peierbach-Reichenau to Retz service. A total of 120 Class 4020 were built, with around 50 units still remaining in traffic, covering around 40 diagrams. They were built in several batches between 1976 and 1987. (1144-235) does the honours on a southbound train to Peierbach. (1116-253) is in charge of this southbound service for Vienna Meidling station. A further 24 Class 4746 CityJet units are on order, and these are expected to be delivered from spring 2020. These are set to replace many Class 4024 units, which will in turn replace the ageing Class 4020s, all of which will be withdrawn by early 2021 at the latest. "28 trains arrive and depart here every hour. A pair of Class 4024 units, numbers 007 and 018, the latter in the new CityJet livery, are seen arriving with the 0821 from Vienna Meidling to Hollabrunn. "22 Class 4020s received the new red, grey and white livery after refurbishments, but these ceased when the new Class 4746 CityJet units commenced delivery. 4020, 302 and 309 depart south, whilst numbers 320 and 317 pass by in the opposite direction. "4110-016 departs with the 0856 Westbahn service for Salzburg. Finally, passengers watch the arrival of the 844 from Vienna Meidling to Retz. If you want to see the Class 4020s in action, time is rapidly running out, so Vienna is the place to catch them before they meet their end. In this, the third section of the programme, we travel to Germany, where loco-hauled push-pull operations have returned to the regional line linking Leipzig with Chemnitz. The map shows our locations and the stretch of line covered, beginning at Geithain and heading south to the northern outskirts of Chemnitz. We begin with scenes taken at Geithain and at Narsdorf on the 30th of May 2019. Trains are operated using Class 223 diesel locomotives with driving trailers either in 4 or 5 coach formations. Heading south into the station is 223054, on the rear of this service from Leipzig. The locos are usually to be found on the northern end of the train formations. In a surprise move, a DB Cargo Class 234 diesel, number 278, was used instead of one of the Class 223s between the 29th of August and the 3rd of September this year. Passenger loadings increased substantially as a result of many enthusiasts descending on the line from all over Europe to get the Class 234 in for haulage. Services operate to an hourly frequency. Here we see 223053 disappearing away with the 1231 from Chemnitz to Leipzig. This is the site of the new Narsdorf station, with the old junction signal box on the right, which has now been preserved and is used for offices. Number 223054 returns north with a train from Chemnitz. Meanwhile, local tractor enthusiasts were out and about in style. Slightly to the south, we get this view of 223144 on the rear of the 1220 from Leipzig to Chemnitz. Usually 4 locos are required to cover the 3 diagrams needed. Moving south, we have 2 locations, the first at the impressive Gurenner Viaduct and the other not far from Kossen. Gurenner Viaduct takes the line across the Zwickau Mulde and is 68 metres high and 381 metres long. It took 3 years to build, with completion in 1871. 223144 retraces its steps with a service bound for Leipzig. The trains are operated by Transdev subsidiary Mitteldeutschland Regiobahn, who have recently placed an order for new bi-mode multiple units to replace the current loco-hauled sets, which are not popular with passengers. Our second location is at Kossen, where 223053 powers south at the rear of a service for Chemnitz. We move south once again and to a further 2 positions, the first at the station at Burgstadt and the second at Wittgensdorf. "223054 is seen calling with the 1531 from Chemnitz to Leipzig. The Class 223s used on the route are numbers 053, 054 and 055, leased to MRB, from Beacon Rail Leasing, and 223144 leased from Integral. Finally, at Wittgensdorf, it is the turn of 223054. Regular viewers will realise that we have a soft spot for the main line from Paris south to Orléans, as we've visited it a number of times over the years. The main reason, though, is that it is one of the last routes left in France that sees almost 100% locomotive haulage on passenger services, and we make no apologies for this in the current era of modern multiple unit formations. It is also a busy line, and so you get a lot of trains for your money. So we're back again now to take advantage of this time warp of a line, where we will enjoy 2 locations, one at CZECH, not far from Orléans, and the other a little further north at Toury. It's the small commuter station at CZECH which we visit first, as BB 7200 electric number 7204 heads south towards the camera with the 1722 Paris to Orléans. The date is the 25th of September. The line here was opened at the end of 1842, when rail construction in France was heavily influenced by railway building in Great Britain. One legacy of this being the adoption of left-hand running, which is standard all over the country except for the Paris Metro and some lines in the Alsace area. Five minutes later, and it is the turn of 26036 at the head of the 1737 from Paris to Cahors. The busiest times of the day along this line are during the morning and evening commuter periods. Local trains call at the station. This one is the 1823 from Orléans to Paris, powered by 7275. Freight trains are also able to squeeze themselves into the busy passenger traffic on this line, such as this Kohler Rail Vossloh G1206 locomotive number 3. This is one of 30 of the type operated by the company. This one on a string of empty hoppers bound for the stone quarries south of Troyes. The main church at CZECH is next to the station, the town itself having a population of close to 1500. Heading north through the low evening sun is 26053 on a slightly delayed 1719 from Tours to Paris. The train is passed by 26043. The Paris to Orléans local services are powered by BB 7200 electrics, such as number 7219 seen here. This loco is now based at Tours Depot and was introduced into traffic on the 4th of November 1976. Prior to this overall grey livery, it wore the green and grey freight colours. Four minutes later, and diesel, number 69466, follows hauling this test coach. It was a further 6 minutes before we saw this colourful working with dual voltage BB 22277 and class 75,000 diesel number 032 heading a southbound departmental working. Here we have 75053 and 067. Another set of hoppers, this time headed by 75054 and 048. (7295) powers the 1928 Orléans to Paris working. We head towards Paris now and to Torry, where we chose a number of spots just north of the station. This time we concentrate our filming on the early morning commuter traffic. The sun was just rising as number 7306 heads south with a delayed 0545 from Paris Austerlitz to Orléans. The sugar refinery located here sends out large quantities of steam as 26029 heads for Paris with the 0620 departure from Tours. The time is 20 to 8. Next up is 26045 on the 658 from Paris to Bourges. Within another 12 to 18 months, scenes such as this will be history, with new multiple units set for delivery. "7256 is next to show with train TER 60504, the 737 local from Orléans to Paris. Following this was infrastructure liveried 22295. "26020 was the next to show. As can be seen, many locos wear the all-over grey livery, or ghost livery as it is known. It does make them look rather drab, and in desperate need for a splash of colour. Marginally better is number 26002, which is wearing the now defunct En Voyage livery. This is the 652 from Bourges to Paris. There are just 108 Class 7200 locos left in traffic, including number 7230, seen here with a train for Orléans. Infrastructure liveried 22367 was next to appear, with this short northbound working at just after 9 o'clock. The overhead here is energised at 1500 volts DC and is 3-track from Orléans to a point just north of Étampes, where it goes 4-track to Paris. There are a few 4-track sections before Étampes, at just north of Artenay, then again at Tory, Boisseau, and between Angerville and Monreville. This is 26003. "26160 brings a splash of red to the scene, heading the 835 from Paris, bound for Tours. You never know what might turn up next along this line. Take these ex-German Class 211/212 diesels, used all over France on infrastructure work. This is 7303, still in its original orange and cement livery. The loco entered service on the 24th of November 1980, some 39 years ago. Will it pass the 40-year mark? Well, let's hope so. "26036 heads north, powering the 643 from Cahors to Paris, some 5¼ hours into its journey." Nine minutes later, and 69495 and 447 are seen on this weed killer train. Only 4 freights were seen in 5 hours along this line. Here's one of them, number 27018, with loaded cars. Another freight, this time with 27001 in charge. Finally, in our study of this line, it is a track machine that we see heading southbound for the yards at Orléans. There's a good chance that we'll be back here again in a future edition of European Railway. Do stay tuned. The elimination of Class 1700 electrics in the Netherlands on local services is expected to be complete by December 2019. which will mean that the sole remaining diagrams will be on hauling intercity trains from Amsterdam through to the border crossing at Bad Bentheim in Germany. In this section we chose 2 locations close to the border to take a look at some of the current workings. The date is the 5th of June 2019, and locomotive number 1732 is seen in charge of the 1422 Berlin to Amsterdam service. The locos on these services are expected to be replaced by more modern types in the near future. Keolis operate new Flirt E4 5-car EMUs on their table RB61 services between Bielefeld in Germany and Hengelau in the Netherlands. This is set number 2429015. (1744) heads east with the 1700 Amsterdam to Hanover. This is 242015 once again. Sister unit number 014 heads west on the final stage of its journey from Bielefeld to Hengelo. (1744) is seen returning at the head of the 1622 Berlin to Amsterdam intercity service. Built between 1990 and 1994, the time's nearly up for these classic French-designed machines. We will look at the final workings of this class in a future edition of European Railway. Moving to Switzerland now, and to a busy location to the northwest of Zurich, close to the large marshalling yard at Limmatal. Our maps show the location of the station, known as Kilwangen-Spreitenbach, as it serves 2 separate communities, which is on a number of main rail routes out of the capital. We begin with locomotive 11640, being passed by 500-040, working the 912 from St. Gallen to Lausanne. (460-020) was next to appear on the 947 service from Basel. Sister locomotive number 460-053 is on the rear of the 909 from Chur to Basel. As can be seen, this location sees non-stop action, both passenger and freight. RE66 number 11657 heads towards the camera and is passed by 460033. Local S-Bahn passenger trains feature heavily. Here we have 450075 powering north and is passed by 460045. This postal service is on its way to the large sorting centre at Harkingen, just west of Olten. It is powered by RE44 electric, number 420314. A pair of Class 450s, numbers 53 and 78, slow for the station stop, forming the 1017 Aarau to CZECH. 3 pairs of local services stop here each hour. (11183) comes off the flyover from the Aarau route with an eastbound postal service from Harkingen to Frauenfeld. The train is passed in the opposite direction by 11275. Two minutes later and 11233 heads north with a train bound for Basel-Muttenz. Another pair, numbers 081 and 111, come off the Aarau line with a train bound for Zurich. (460-020) returns with a service for Basel. Unfortunately, station staff wouldn't let us film from the platforms on this occasion, so we were restricted to the west side of the tracks next to the goods ramp. (460-034) overtakes 11185. A side road offers this elevated view of the station as 511-003 heads south, arriving with the 1206 from Brugg to Ville. (11295) is about to take the ramp up and over the main lines, which will then give it access to the arrivals yard at Limmatal. Passing by in the other direction is mail train 50726 from Frauenfeld to Harkingen, headed by 11239. (185-114) heads train 49056 from Brooks to Bremerhaven, conveying empty wagons used for carrying Red Bull soft drinks. This is 460 008. Sister Loco 460015 is next to be seen, powering north on the rear of the 1106 Zurich to Bern. Eleven 136 head south with the 1013 from Basel to Zurich. TGV set number 4726 is seen working a service from Paris to Zurich. Eleven 244 has not long departed Limmatol Yard. It is working a mixed freight bound for Basel. Unusually on the rear of the consist is dead in tow 843063. Cement train 63018 from Zingenthal, headed by 421384, is overtaken by 500 008. 11154 and 11299 joined forces for this ECS move to Zurich off the Arrow line. .46051 heads south and is passed in the opposite direction by TGV set number 4409 on a train bound for Paris. Our last scenes from the busy lines through Kilwangen shows 630.031 heading north with a short freight from Limmatal Yard. German narrow gauge steam provides the last scene in this programme, as 210-2 tank number 997247 slogs uphill from Wernigerode with the 0855 to Brocken on Sunday the 2nd of June 2019. We shall have more from the Harz narrow gauge line in a future edition of European Railway. In the meantime, thank you for watching.